So we're going to model this part in two ways. The first way is going to consist of 3 steps. We're going to do a base extrude of this L shape. Then we're going to create another sketch with the boss extrude of this feature here. And then we'll finish with the extruded cut of the hole. The first thing you need to do is make sure you can identify how to read the drawing. So as I said, we're going to start with this L shape. And we start with a sketch, and then we'll move on from there. As we do when we start any part, the first thing we're going to do is make sure that we're in the ANSI drafting standard. So I'm going to open my Options button, click Document Properties, and change my drafting standard to ANSI. I'm also going to check my units. I'm going to make sure I'm in the inch/pound/second units and click OK. My units down below have turned to IPS, and I know I'm in the ANSI standard. So to start the sketch, I'm going to draw my first sketch on the front plane. I'm going to create that L. So we're going to go to Sketch and Front Plane. That will rotate normal too. So to draw the L, I'm going to create a line sketch. And when you start your first sketch, don't worry about actual dimensions. Just give a regular general shape. But do pay attention to the constraints. As I lower this my mouse down, you can see that guideline so that I'm horizontal with the origin. I want to snap to that guideline and then finish up at the origin. Then I can add my dimensions. Usually you want to add your large dimensions first. That will help you in the long run in terms of getting lines that start crossing each other. So this sketch tells me that it's 2.5 by 2.5, and each of these dimensions is 0.75. Once I finish up with that last dimension, I get a fully defined sketch, and I'm good to go to the extrude feature. So I click on Features, Extruded Boss Base, and from the diagram or the drawing, I know I want to extrude it 2.5 inches. So there's my first feature. The next step is to create the second extrude feature. That's going to be a sketch also that looks like this L shape, but I'm going to sketch it on this top face. In SolidWorks, it's very easy to select your sketch plane, so I'm going to click Sketch. It's going to ask me what plane. All I have to do is click on this top plane, and it will know that I want to create my sketch on that plane. I'm going to start with a line, snap to this vertex here, and then I'm going to draw my general shape again. Doesn't matter how close to accurate it is, as long as the general shape is consistent. And then I'm going to make sure I close it back at the origin. Now I can smart dimension this shape. I know this length here is 2.5. I know this length is 2.5. And also from my diagram, this distance here is 0.75, and this here is 0.75. That will fully define my sketch. So I can exit out of that and extrude this. I'm going to extrude it 2.5 inches. You can see that SolidWorks defaults up, but I know I want to extrude down. To do that, you just have to come to the direction option here and click that button to reverse direction. I'm at 2.5. I want to make sure I merge the result, and then I click OK. The last thing I need to do now is add the extruded cut for the hole, so I'm going to do one more sketch. I'm going to do it on this face here, so I just have to click on that. I'm going to randomly draw a circle, and then go ahead and dimension it as decided, 0.75 diameter. You can see from your drawing that it is at 0.75 from the right edge and 1.25 from the back edge, fully defined. There are lots of ways to do that. I'm just choosing to do it the way I showed you for now. And then this is an extruded cut, so I'm going to extrude that. I want you to see that SolidWorks knows to go through the part, but it has chosen a blind extrusion. Blind means that it will go the distance specified. I want to change that to through all. Both of them will give you the same result, but if you pick through all, then if you go back and change dimensions here, the hole will continue to cut their whole way. So I do a through all, select OK, and my part is finished. So that's the first way to design the modeled part, and then we'll move on to the next way.